Welcome to the Orchard Hard Drive. Dear Diary, we woke early and once again made our way to the surface. The trees are huge and block out the sun. There's a mist that covers the ground constantly. The plants cover the buildings that are here. We passed the school and gave one more look inside to see if there was any more information. Twelblade found a map which confirmed it. This was in fact the lost city. Still no idea what happened, but we now know where buildings were. Looking at the map, and Gwyneth looked at our gauntlet. Still, it pointed southeast, never changing. We figured we should keep going in that direction. Clonk said this morning that this place was more horrible than he'd imagined. That creature really affected him and I. Twelblade and Gwyneth seemed fine, except for Twelblade, who was a little worse for wear after using his magic. Dear Diary, we just had another encounter. After a little rest, we tried making our way southeast, checking with the map to see where it could be. We walked through ancient broken streets and ruins of buildings. We heard a rumble and got ready to head for cover. It was a huge creature. 4 long legs crept over the rubble, looking for anything. This one was also reptilian. Huge teeth filled its mouth with equally sharp claws at the end of each foot. It saw us and roared. Gwyneth got her sword ready and told Clonk and myself to stay back. Twayblade's hands glowed. He too was getting ready to fight this monster off, when out of nowhere an arrow hit the creature in the neck. It stumbled and turned towards where the arrow had come from, but before it could find its assailant, it got hit with another arrow right into the eye, followed quickly by another, bringing it down. We stood in silence for a second. Then a figure approached us. They were very pale, slightly larger than normal, pointed ears and bright red glowing eyes. The light from the eyes left a little trail as they moved. They were a sight to behold. The voice asked what we thought we were doing here. Gwyneth said how she could ask the same of him. He said how he was a ranger patrolling these woods and we should leave immediately. He said this was no place for sightseeing. We told him we were looking for information about this place. He said the only information we needed about this place was it was nowhere for mortals to walk. Mortals? Aren't you a mortal? I asked. No, was the answer. When he got closer, he told us he could lead us back out of the dark wood. Twayblade protested and said we were here on a mission. He said he was the wizard Twayblade. The pale figure looked puzzled and then laughed. He asked if he was meant to know who Twayblade was. Twayblade was furious. He said he was the powerful wizard Twayblade. Oh, Twayblade, he said in a mocking tone. No, I'm sorry, I don't know you. Twayblade fumed and I went and spoke to the pale figure. I said how I understood where he was coming from, but we were here on a mission and I wondered if you could help guide us. He said the only thing he could do was bring us out of the woods. But for now, we could go back to his home. This was a hunting time for the beasts out here. Eventually, we arrived at a large building. The figure waved his hand, the door opened, and he gestured for us to walk in before him. Once we were all in, we could see this was more of a courtyard, with another building further in. He told us to make our way to the house. We'd be safe as long as we stayed on the path. We got inside to see this beautiful home. I almost couldn't believe this existed in this long abandoned city. Then we were joined by our host. He took his cloak off, his eyes still glowing red. He said we'd be more than safe here. The creatures don't really like coming to this part of the city. Our host clicked his fingers and a fireplace lit. A bright blue flame appeared. He said to make yourselves at home and introduce himself. He said his name was Sealgare. He told us he was what people like Twayblade would call a dark sorcerer. Twayblade said I grumbled and said others would call them vampires. Sealgare smiled and said yes. As soon as he said it, my heart sank. The blue fire, the pale skin, just like that creature in the wood. Was this guy about to transform and attack us? Probably not, I thought, as he'd helped us back here. Twayblade said how he assumed all their kind was long gone. Sealgare said how there were much fewer, but there were some around. a few here in the dark wood. Gwyneth said how this was all very educational, but there was the matter of a gateway. Twayblade turned to her in a flash of anger in his face. Silgar looked puzzled, then said how he wasn't sure there were any left in the woods or anywhere else. It was old Tech, and Tech long gone. Before anyone could say anything, Silgar said how he had to go out and continue his patrol, but we were free to use his house as we wished, and even stay the night. But Silgar added, we were to leave the dark wood tomorrow.